Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of NASCAR '07 on the channel. It is another Craftsman Truck Series race on our custom schedule season, as we have just 5 races remaining on the custom schedule season with the full season points format. Ron Hornaday comes up with the points lead. Our driver Todd Bodine is second in the standings, 65 points back into these final 5 races. We have 2 back-to-back mile-and-a-half races. We have Atlanta, Las Vegas, followed by a short track at Martinsville, and then an intermediate track on a 2-mile oval at California, followed by the season finale on a super speedway high bank racetrack at Talladega. That will be the final 5 races to make up the 65 points. Ron Hornaday has beaten us in each of the last 2 races. Texas, we did not have a great run. We need a good finish here today if we're going to want a shot to try to get back into things. Bobby Hamilton, who went on to lead the most laps in the last race, did not get the win. He fell behind after late race pit stops following a late race caution, which ended up vaulting Bobby Hamilton to a top 10 finish, but not the race win, where it was looking like he was going to get for the first half of the race at Michigan. So, with that being said, we'll see who will be in contention to win the title. We have 3 drivers within 70 points. And don't forget about Bill Lester as well. He is closing the gap. He's now just less than 200 out of first as well. We are going to qualify on this stream today with Todd Bodine, and then we will run the race after this. So, yeah, buckle up. I don't know what kind of speed this 30 truck is going to have in this one. Hopefully it is not too tight. We were a little bit on the loose side of things in the first Atlanta race earlier this season. It was a 50% race at Atlanta earlier this year, and I believe Bill Lester, if I'm not mistaken, won that race. Or no, Hans Good won. Yeah, Hans Good won, because he's won 4 of the mile-and-a-half racetracks so far this season. Only 2 drivers have won more than 1 race, and that would be Todd Bodine with still the most, having 5 wins, and then Hans Good with 4. That last race at Michigan for Todd Bodine, he tied his worst finish of the season, 32nd place, which has dropped him out of the points lead once again. He has led in total in points for 4 races this season, and he was over 100 points ahead 2 races ago before dropping back to a 65-point lead after back-to-back finishes of 30th and 32nd. Looking for good momentum on his side today. Fast first lap of qualifying. Needs to pick it up a little bit, though. He qualified 11th. It's not great. Be a little bit too tight. Trying to stay hooked to that white line as much as possible that time. A more tighter exit to turn 2 as far as trying to keep the truck as low as possible. Got to keep it steady. Off of turn 4, I think this lap is going to be a skosh quicker. Oh, there's a slight bobble into that first kink of the dog leg. Lap 2 was quicker than lap 1, though, but it was not quick enough to jump him into the top 10. So 11th place for Todd Bodine, and it looks like Bobby Hamilton will be on the pole in this one. I didn't see where Bill Lester starts. I did see Ron Hornaday is starting in 4th. So the points leader starting 4th. Matthew Dorter, Bruno, Billy Kramer, and others, welcome to the stream. Alan Williams, welcome also. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Atlanta, and our 5th to last race of the Truck Series Custom Schedule season is underway. Man, we are going to see some ultra-aggressive racing by those championship contenders. More than likely all 4 of them. 3 of them, again, within 70 points. Bodine, not a clean start whatsoever. Can't get off the wall at turns 3 and 4. Maybe the truck is a little too tight in traffic. And now he's stuck on the outside. That was an abysmal opening lap of the race. It did not practice. It just hopped into qualifying, as you saw there. Now into the race. Nice little run off the high side off turn 2 that time, and able to pin the truck back down to the bottom. Going to make a pass on the 137 truck, and will do. Bobby Hamilton leads the first 2 laps of the race in the 18 truck at the front of the field. Bodine trying to pick his way back through a lot of these fantasy drivers in front of him outside the top 10. And his fastest lap of the first 3 that last time. Timothy Peters in the Ford truck towards the outside. Bodine going to slip underneath him. Hugging the white line all the way through the corner. Maybe a little too aggressive with it. Bill Lester to the race lead. Another one of the championship contenders will get 5 bonus points, assuming he leads this lap at the line. So Bill Lester, Bobby Hamilton have both led to get 5 bonus points here in the first 4 laps of the race as Lester leads that lap at the line. Eric Darnell almost scrubbed the wall off turn 4. Bodine making it 3 wide on the front stretch. Still 3 wide into turn 1. Holds his own, passes 2 trucks, gets under another, and Todd Bodine's up to 7th quickly. And David Reagan is a rival right in front of him. 2 races in a row. Bodine got in the back of David Reagan and accidentally turned him, and that is why David Reagan is upset. This may not be an easy pass on the 6th truck for the 6th place position. Ron Hornaday's in 5th, just up in front of these 2. Bodine wants to get to the lead as soon as he can, with hopes of trying to get as many points as possible with a potential max points day. He gets body slammed in the middle of the corner by David Reagan. That's going to slow Bodine up quite a bit. Both trucks kept control. 1 second off the race lead. That did slow Bodine down quite a bit, but he did a great job keeping control of the race truck. He's going to abuse the tires off the 30 as well. Hornaday not able to keep up with the 4 trucks in front of him. I don't know where the best spot to pass David Reagan's going to be. Bodine got underneath him cleanly once, and Reagan crowded him. Reagan crowds him with a late block, slams him a couple times. But Todd Bodine hangs on to the race truck, and he was able to clear David Reagan for 5th, or for 6th rather. Reagan all over the back of the 30. Oh, he's into him. He's into him. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he turned him on the front stretch. David Reagan turns Todd Bodine, and we have an early caution. If that wasn't blatant, I don't know what would be to turn blatant. I mean, that was as obvious. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't turn me sooner, honestly. I was trying to hold as steady of a wheel as possible so that wouldn't happen. Not what Todd Bodine needs in a situation where the championship is on the line in these final 5 races. About a dozen laps went from 11th to 6th pretty quickly. And then David Reagan turns Todd Bodine. And Bodine now at the tail end of the field for the upcoming restart following getting spun. Lap 13, make that lap 14 on the restart as the green flag is back in the air at Atlanta. It looks like they're about 3 wide for the lead in turns 1 and 2 already. AB48, thanks for tuning in also. So caution is out early in this race. Todd Bodine gets hooked by David Reagan, bringing out an early caution. And as a result, Bodine to the back of the pack. And now my tires are shot. I can feel the rear tires sliding around like crazy after he turned us. Right in the middle of the front stretch, too. What Reagan deems as payback for Todd Bodine turning him at Texas and at Michigan, back-to-back races. And Bodine did not intentionally do that. There was a checkup off of turn 2, in fact, at both races. And Bodine ran into the back of David Reagan both times in the checkup after a couple trucks had gotten together in front of another pack of trucks on a restart. And I turned David Reagan literally almost a carbon copy from what I did at Texas at Michigan, and it was literally back-to-back races. Same situation, off a restart, field packed together, a couple trucks got together in front of us, and Reagan was in front of me both times, and I turned him both times. That's why he's upset. Even though, obviously, it was because of what happened in front of us. Now Todd Bodine's tires are shot, and this could only be a one pit stop race today, so if we don't get another caution sometime soon, it's going to be tough to get all that track position back. Qualified 11th. Wasn't the greatest qualifying effort for Todd Bodine, but again, got up to 6th in the first dozen laps of the race. I mean, we were moving. Seemed like we were getting a little bit better as the longer run wore on, but now we've got to figure something else out here. And fast, because Bill Lester's leading a ton of laps right now. Now, he's probably the least to worry about of the championship 4 right now that are battling for the title, but you never know. I mean, Bill Lester could go on and potentially win another race. I think he won at Texas 2 races ago. Chris Parker, one of the fantasy drivers, won at Michigan in our last race, which took place last week on the channel. Bodine trying to make his way back towards the front of the field. First, he has to catch the back of the pack. Methodically working his way to them. Todd Bodine already going 3 wide underneath the 101 and the 98. He's aggressive in the early going, but in a clean, aggressive way, and he's going to have to step on it here and really try to get going through this field. Sliding up to take another position away. Set up a little bit too far wide off turn 4. Oh, trouble getting into turn 1. One truck is nearly upside down, and around goes Todd Bodine. They checked up going into turn 4. Bodine, for the 3rd consecutive race, gets caught up in a similar accident. Wild ride for one of the fantasy drivers, sliding on his side in traffic. Oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. 3 races in a row, severe damage on the 30. I mean, we just cannot get out of harm's way. This is unbelievable. 6.2 seconds of damage. 3 races in a row, there was a stack up in front of us and I had nowhere to go. I mean, it is crazy how quick it happens. All on intermediate tracks, Texas, Michigan, and now Atlanta. Only this time it was getting into the corner versus at Texas and Michigan, it was both off the exit of turn 2. And they were both on restarts. Like, in this situation, we were like 10 laps after the restart. And then that happened. I mean, this is insane, though. 3 races in a row, we get caught up in a similar accident just like that. Now we're probably going to have another rival at the tail end of the field. And Bodine's going to be slow getting up to speed, and he may have enough speed knocked out of the truck that he might not be as fast, just like the case was at Michigan and Texas, really. Both races had a lot of speed knocked out of the race truck, and had troubles keeping up. 30th and 32nd place finish is in both those races. Needs to have a good finish today. We have 4 races left after this. If we finish at the back and we are over 100 points, I mean, honestly, we could be upwards of like 150 points back if we have a terrible finish again, similar to Michigan and Texas. 150 points in 4 races. I don't think I can make that up, considering we're going to have 2 to 3 drivers in between ourselves and the points leader. Sad part is Hornaday already blew an engine back at, what was that, IRP? When I won at IRP, he blew a motor. Like 3 or 4 races ago. I don't know if he's going to DNF again the rest of the year, honestly. And Bill Lester's been dominating this race right now. Bobby Hamilton led the first 3 laps, and Lester's led every lap since. We've had 2 cautions already in the first 29 laps. Lester gets turned by David Reagan, which put him back in traffic. And then that happened while Bodine was back in traffic. He didn't have any damage from the spin from David Reagan, so he was able to at least keep up with the pack, and I don't even think he's able to do that right now. What a shame. .8 seconds off the lead at the start-finish line that time. I think it was 6.6 back the lap before. I mean, the tires have to be absolutely shot with both those slides, too. Car feels alright, honestly, all things considered, but obviously quite a bit. Oh yeah, I was 0.4 of a second slower than Bill Lester that last lap. The speed got knocked out of it for sure. 0.4 slower than the race leader. We don't have any dirty air in front of us right now either. That's just natural speed at this point. We are catching up to the back of the field a little bit. So, I mean, it's not a complete loss in the sense that there are definitely positions to be had for Todd Bodine yet in this race. Definitely can't just give in. Gonna have to scratch and claw to try to get a decent finish in this one. Adrian K, thanks for tuning in. Car definitely went from the snug side to the loose side, too. 8.3 back. 6.2 back just a few laps ago. Man. I mean, it was all David Reagan, really. I mean, Reagan put us in that position. We got knocked back in traffic. And then stuff happened in front of us and we got caught up in it. There's one truck out of the race. So Todd Bodine, as a result, is currently scored 35th with one driver out, virtue of a DNF. So for this to be a one-stop race today, gotta make it at least 65 laps on fuel. Which, right now we're pacing to do so. We also have had 2 cautions, so we'll have to wait and see. Exactly how far we can go. Shot 4 over for 18 holes. That's pretty good. I had an 81 today. 11 over. 6 over on the front, 5 over on the back. I had 2 birdies. One on a par 3 and one on a kind of shorter par 4. I want to say I hit like 6 greens of regulation. Wasn't bad. 3 of them were on par 3s. A par 5 and then 2 of the par 4s. Wait, Slunsky, thanks for tuning in. I'm late. I didn't have a scheduled start time for tonight, I will say. Got a lot of stuff going on. I'm planning on moving on Friday. So I'm in the middle of trying to make sure I get everything between just like trying to figure out a game plan and get everything situated during the week, because I have to work Tuesday through Thursday still. So today was my last full day off before move-in day. But between that and the fact that I mean, there's that, and I'm working on trying to get a new car too. Mine's been having issues off and on for a while. I mean, Bodine's just slowly catching the back of the pack. It's taken a really long time. Again, if you're just tuning in, wondering why we're in 35th, we were in 6th place after we qualified 11th, maybe a dozen laps or so into the race. David Reagan, who's a rival, and really the only rival of mine in the field coming into the race today, had spun me out after I passed him on the front stretch, which put us back in traffic, and then there was a stack-up causing an accident, which Todd Bodine was then involved in about 10 laps after the restart from the spin from Bodine, and as a result of all of that, this 30 truck has significant damage, which is why he is struggling to try to keep up with the back of the field right now. Just get in the draft. Maybe he can make some passes One can only hope. 3 races in a row, though, we've been caught up in a wreck with severe damage that has costed us in the speed side of things with this race truck. Texas was more handling, which scrubbed off speed over the course of the long run, but this is definitely all speed. I mean, we went from a top 10 truck to a maybe 20th place truck if we can get up into traffic, but even that's kind of a stretch. Or at least saying it's a stretch for right now. It's only a one-stop race today. I tried to repair damage on pit road. No, it's about the same driving distance for me to get to my work. Closer to where my sister works. Me and her are gonna live together, and then she still goes to college too, so she was taking mostly online classes this year, but next year she'll be having to go into school too, so I was already looking for a place, so we decided to pitch in together, so that way we're only paying, I mean, we're splitting the rent in half, so it's way more affordable for both of us. Hoping they are side by side a little more at the back of the pack, and maybe I have a chance of catching them, but it just doesn't feel like I've got anything for them. I mean, we restarted over 20 laps ago, and I still can't quite get up there. I saw that comment and I'm not going to reread it. I hope you were talking about your comment prior to that. Then it would make sense. Oh, come on. I feel like if I can catch some of the draft, I'd be okay. They get stacked up a little bit, and I'm drafting off of them just a skosh down the straightaways, but it's just not enough. Yeah, and now I messed it up. Yeah. Once I clipped the apron, I just couldn't stick it anymore. Man, that's just so frustrating. We're going to need... I don't even know, because even if we catch a caution, we're going to be in the same situation again. I think we're within the fuel window to make it to the end. About 80 laps, so... I mean, I could short pit if I wanted to. It's not really going to help us. I don't think. I'd be the only truck a lap down if we got a caution, so I'd get the free pass, but... We'll take our first field pass of the day. Maybe there's a chance that Todd Bodine will be a little bit quicker. And I'm not driving as him. Ted Musgrave is in 24th. Just drove him up into the wall on the backstretch. Trying to get to the outside of the 101 truck. Bill Lester still led all but the first 3 laps of the race today. Ted has a run. Who was it that had a Ted Musgrave throwback scheme this weekend? I think it was either in the Xfinity Series or the truck race. I feel like it was the truck race. It wasn't of this scheme, though. It's a different truck series Ted Musgrave scheme. Driven Ted up to 19th place currently. Pretty close to the top half of the field. Bill Lester is no longer leading this race. They're leading about 54 laps. He will not lead lap 58. All those laps were consecutive during this green flag run as well. And to Todd Bodine we go. And it just doesn't seem like Bodine is quite caught up with the rest of the field here. I think he's about just as quick as what I am when I'm driving as him, so that didn't really do much. He's gonna get the field passes done with here pretty soon. It was Timmy Hill. Yes, thank you. You're right, you're right. It was Timmy. Timmy! Musgrave's about 9.9 seconds off the lead. No, Edwards doesn't look like he's aged much. It looks like he's put on a little bit more muscle, though. I mean, he's always kind of like one of the more fit guys in the garage, but... probably focus more on weightlifting now that he's not racing anymore. Couple spots gained this lap for Ted Musgrave, moving himself to 17th. And will drive as Todd Bodine for the rest of the race. Try to see if Ted Musgrave maybe slows up enough that Todd Bodine can have a chance to try to catch this pack of trucks up ahead of him before we get into pit stops. He's going to have a pretty decent pit stop as well. "16 seconds off the race lead, so just over half a lap behind the race leader is Todd Bodine right now. Honestly, we're in danger of going a lap down for the end of this race if it goes green the rest of the way. I think Mike Joy, I think he just had like slick back hair for the weekend, for throwback weekend. I'm assuming that's why he got the cut. I don't think the actual like cut itself is any different. I'm assuming that was the case. I mean, I guess we'll find out at North Wilkesboro next weekend. I mean, it works for him. Just past halfway through tonight's race at Atlanta. Kind of a dire situation here for Todd Bodine. Trying to do what he can to catch the back of this pack. And we've got some trucks pitting this time off turn 4. And Musgrave's on his way in. Two trucks side by side right in front of Todd. The best thing that can happen here is we get a caution. Right in the middle of green flag pit stops that traps quite a few drivers a lap down. That would be the best thing for Todd Bodine right now, because that could lock him into a better finish, and it could allow some of the other drivers in points to not get quite as good of a finish as a result. Ron Hornaday, by the way, just led that last lap during green flag pit stops. So that's the first lap Hornaday has led today from the 9th starting spot. Bodine did catch him past one truck at least on track during these green flag stops. Trying to stay out as long as I can in case I have a chance to get 5 bonus points. Got 10 trucks still ahead of Todd Bodine that have to pit yet. A couple more on their way in right now. No 5 truck right in front of Todd Bodine. Bodine gonna sit behind him. Nope, he'll pull out of line, in fact, into turns 1 and 2, trying to make the pass. And does. And there's David Reagan right around Todd Bodine. Bodine on the outside of the 6. Bodine knows not to pass him again. Hornaday on pit road. The 191 led that lap barely, so now the 191 truck is led. Todd Bodine's going to have to make it one more lap on fuel after this. And then he'll get 5 bonus points. So Todd Bodine has not gotten any bonus points yet. Not worried about trying to lap David Reagan here. So 5 bonus points for Bodine leading that last lap. So each of the top 4 in points have all led a lap today. Bill Lester so far has led the most of them. Bodine on his way in. Late dive to pit road, has to make sure he doesn't speed, and he did not. Perfect pit road entry. It'll be right side tires only for Todd Bodine. They're going to make a slight wedge adjustment on this 30 truck as well, as he will make his only stop. So he's going to try to go the full race on the same left side tires. It's a gamble, but he's looking to get more positions. Gonna have to try to take this gamble. He's 11th right now. A lot of trucks obviously gonna get up to speed quicker than him. Try to slow up a couple other drivers here. Just getting up to speed down on the bottom of the racetrack. Couple more blowing by as Bodine's trying to get up to speed still. 20th place, and I think he was in 34th when the pit stop started, so he gained 14 positions going right sides only. Put a half round of wedge into it to try to tighten it up because he's going to be a little bit more free on those older left side tires. And at Old Atlanta, trying to go 130 laps on the same left side tires from the start of the race. It's a gamble, but in a position where he was in 34th anyway, you might as well go for it if you're Todd Bodine. It's going to be all over the place by the end of this thing, but gotta pick up some positions one way or another. I think he's got a decent truck in the draft. Dirty air is going to be a little difficult. Just pull alongside the 126 truck. Scott Legacy Jr. on the outside of the 99. He'll leave the bottom open. Todd Bodine making a couple passes and is broken back into the top half of the field in 18. As he sits behind the 99 of Eric Darnell. And man, it's a bold strategy call. I mean, we still have 52 laps left in this race, too. The truck's already going up the hill a little bit. Can't really do much about it. Just got to work with it. I wasn't trying to get underneath Eric Darnell there. A little bit of contact. And that got the 30 a little bit more loose, which is not good for Todd Bodine. The reason why Todd doesn't want to pass him yet is he feels he'll be faster just kind of sitting in line behind him for right now. Although it does seem like he's closing in a little too quick in the center of the corner. He's not getting as much speed as he would like. Yeah, Darrell Waltrip going to be in the booth this weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. Mark DeMars also, welcome to the stream. I didn't shout you out yet. Thanks for tuning in. 14.5 seconds off the lead. I know it was 16 seconds off at one point, so the 2 tires did help a little bit. I really want this to stay green for a while because I think the more cautions we get, the worse it's going to be for me. It'll be an interesting decision on whether I decide to take tires or not, because we've got damage, and I think track position is going to be a little more important. But I know our takeoff speed on the restarts isn't going to be good either, so I think our best chance of getting the best finish possible is this staying green to the end. And kind of hoping we have somebody in front of us for a while. It balances the truck out quite a bit in dirty air as well. Bodine pulling out of line on the 99 of Eric Darnell, body slams him a little bit. Such a dive, 3 wide. Darnell was all over the right rear quarter panel of Bodine. Craig Kinzer was the truck on the outside. And Todd Bodine's up to 16th. Honestly, if Todd Bodine could get a top 10 today, that would be absolutely insane. Somebody's blowing up on the inside of the racetrack. It's Bill Lester. That's another spot for Todd Bodine, but Bill Lester in the 22, who had dominated the first half of the race today, has blown a motor, and he was 4th in points coming in. And by the way, here comes the 6 truck of David Reagan. I should say, here comes Todd Bodine closing in on the 6 truck of David Reagan. This is going to be an interesting situation coming up here. Bodine trying to squeak to the inside, and he does on the 139 truck to pass for 14th. And David Reagan might be the truck he's going to have to follow for a little bit. Bodine just ran his fastest lap of the race. Big side draft, close quarters racing on the 190. Bodine clears him 13th. Good adjustments made on this 30 truck. Bodine to the inside of Reagan. He squeezed Bodine getting into turns 1 and 2, but Todd Bodine hangs on to it. And he's up to 12th. That time Reagan got the worst of it. He deserved it. Ethan, thanks for tuning in. Ross Chastain never raced cleanly. I don't know. 29.9 seconds that last lap. Fastest of the day. I think that was the first time I've ran a 29.9 this whole race. Todd Bodine to 11th. 178 truck right in front of him is in 10th. 11.2 seconds off the lead. And Todd Bodine has been gaining time. I didn't think 2 tires was going to be the strategy call that would really flip this race for Todd Bodine, but it seems to help the balance of the truck out perfectly when in dirty air, at least. It's working itself out. 29.935. I mean, we've ran 2 of our fastest laps of the race over the last 3 laps. If he does ever race cleanly, it won't be this year. I'll tell you that much. Got another truck that is blowing a motor. That was a truck that was already passed by Bodine, unfortunately for Todd. So that does not put the 30 truck in the top 10 yet. 10.4 seconds off the race lead. Down to 39 laps to go. Can't believe Bill Lester blew an engine, though. He has a good chance to lead the most laps in today's race, but as many as the 116 has led, he's taking the lead at lap 57 or 58. Consider that still the first half of the race, even though Lester led 54 or 55 laps in the race. Pretty sure that Lester will not lead the most laps if this, I think it's the 116? It's either the 106 or the 116. It might be Parker again, honestly. If it is Chris Parker, he might win back-to-back races. He's not even in the top 10 in points. I mean, back-to-back late this season. Talk about hitting your strides. Right time of the year is just a little too late on his behalf. Bodine's trying to squeeze the 178. Didn't work out very well for Todd that time. Well, I mean, it might have worked out. I guess he stayed enough on the left rear corner panel. 178 didn't want to move down and try to block him late. And Todd Bodine has rallied to get inside the top 10. Unbelievable, really. Got a little tight there in the middle of 1 and 2, but Todd Bodine inside the top 10 now. What a drive. I mean, that is an incredible recovery run. I mean, he had a similar run like this at Texas, but the tires fell off late. Though in that race, he took 4 tires. It was just the balance of the truck that was off with the damage. The balance of the truck isn't off with the damage. It's just overall a little slower, although he has picked up quite a bit. And I wonder if they maybe were able to repair a little bit more of that damage during the pit stops, which could have helped. Bodine looking for a pass. Battle for 9th. And he's got it. Still 34 to go. I did not think we had a top 10 in us today. Not with the damage. I have to lift when I have enough of a run and accidentally get underneath the truck. Because they're crowding me just enough. I don't want to make the pass because I don't think we're going to be a good lead truck with the damage on the nose. But taking right sides only loosened the truck up quite a bit, and the dirty air is just debilitating it. Loose is fast if you can hang on to it. It's a lot easier to hang on to it now than what it was in clean air. That with the truck getting looser, I feel like I get potentially aero loose in the middle of the corner. Or the truck right behind me if I don't have anybody in front of me. I'm able to pull out a line when we can catch the draft of another truck up in front of us. Oh no, that's not going to be good. That was a mistake from Todd Bodine. I think he's going to be able to keep up with the 134 still. That was close. Almost lost him. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a top 10 either. It's a good recovery run. The problem is Ron Hornaday's still in front of us somewhere. He's in the top 5. I don't think he's any one of the next 3 trucks up ahead. He's already got a 65-point lead on us. The good news is he's not going to get the most laps led. He only led 2 or 3 laps, and I led like 2 or 3 laps during green flag pit stops, so. If we didn't go right sides only too and say we would have been just as quick, we would have been still back right around 30th, if not just worse than that still, because we were 34th when the stop started. I stayed out a bit longer. So taking the right sides definitely gained us a few extra seconds of time. About 7.8 seconds off the lead. It was, during the green flag run itself, over 16.5 seconds off the lead. And after green flag pit stops, we were about 14 seconds off the lead with taking the right sides only. So Bodine has gained time. Again, he's been running some of his fastest laps of the race at times. I don't think the leaders have caught lap traffic. If they do, that could slow them down a little bit more as well. Bodine 0.2 quicker than the race leader that last lap. Lifted a little bit more, trying to keep it off the truck in front of him, getting into 1 and 2 there. We'll pull back to him just a slight bit off the backstretch into 3 and 4. And now we've got 5 trucks under a blanket all of a sudden, all battling for position. Bodine got blocked quite a bit by that 134 truck. Todd going to follow him down to the bottom of the track into 1 and 2. They move to 7th and 8th. They're working well with each other. And Todd's looking to stay down low with the 134 truck. Follow him on the back stretch. Tight gap for these guys. Bodine slides up the hill a little bit. Side draft. Hangs on to it. Get to the inside of the 136. Oh, a lot of contact there. I went to side draft him. I accidentally rammed his door in. And Todd Bodine's up to 6th place with 26 to go. Fitz in front of him, so top 5 is not impossible at this point of the race. You never know. You just never know. Bodine didn't lift that time, but he did get underneath the 134 for just a slight moment before the 134 threw a block, but luckily it was a clean one. He was clear at the time. Todd got a little loose off turn 2. Tires are definitely slipping out from underneath him. The left sides are being used and abused in this race. Got to hope they hang on to the finish. Another 2 to 3 tenths quicker than the leader that last lap. Bodine's having a hard time trying to stick his truck down on the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, contact. Couple trucks got into each other up here. Oh, Bodine just got blocked going into turn 1. Big block there by Todd Bodine. Well, not by Bodine, but the truck to Bodine. Teammate Ted Musgrave to the outside. Todd trying to run down the 134 truck again. 20 laps to go. I mean, like I mentioned, great recovery run. It's going to stink if we still lose points to Hornaday, but to get a top 10 out of a day like today where the entirety of the first half of the race is just not going well for us for the 3rd consecutive race, luckily at least this one we turned it around. As long as the truck can hang on to the finish. Which is still not a 100% guarantee that that would be the case. Marvin Sheth is in 4th. These guys are 5.3 seconds off the lead into turns 1 and 2. The 134 to the inside of Sheth into 1 and 2. Bodine sticks the bottom as well, and Todd Bodine is recovered to get inside the top 5. What a run. Noticing the truck gets a little bit more light off turn 2 than turn 4. This 134 is going to be tough to pass, I know, late in this race. I think Hornaday is in second, and then Bobby Hamilton Sr. is in third. Senior 5 points behind Bodine. And the 18 led 3 laps. Hornaday led 2 or 3, and Bodine led 2 or 3, so they all had 5 bonus points. They've all led very few laps in this race. The 134 can make a pass on him too. Todd would rather work with them. It's because he's racing the 18 and the 33 for the championship. .1 seconds off the race lead. The 134 to the inside into turns 1 and 2. And Todd Bodine to the inside of the 18 truck of Hamilton as well. And he's clear. Off turn 2, he slides in line in between the 18 and the 134. Trying not to get arrow loose. Bobby Hamilton looks back to the inside. Bodine hangs in strong on the outside. Clears Hamilton, throws a bit of a block. Bobby Hamilton to 5th. Bodine, 10-point swing on the 18. Trying to give himself a 10-point cushion over Hamilton after this race, and maybe trying to close 10 points on Hornaday if Hornaday finishes 4th. And maybe there's a shot Hamilton could still catch Hornaday as well. 13 to go. 3.6 seconds off the race lead right now for Todd Bodine. Cardinals won 18-1, my goodness. Tell you what, whoever's going to end up winning this race clearly had the fastest truck in the field today, because they are long gone. Coming up on 11 laps to go. This time by. Three seconds off the race lead are the 3 trucks that battle for second place. 134 going low off turn 2. Had a bit of a run, but Hornaday's going to be able to block getting into turns 3 and 4. A lot of lap traffic in front of the race leaders. Oh, big push into turn. Oh no! They're both up in the outside wall. Bodine's going to get the second. Oh, he hooked the truck in front of him. He was side by side with Ron Hornaday. And the truck, who was in the 134, I'm not sure of the name of that fantasy driver, went up the hill into Hornaday, both into the wall. Bodine's up to second, 2.6 seconds off the lead. .106 dealing with lap traffic, but Bodine doesn't have any drafting partners, and I don't think he's going to have enough to catch the 116 on his own in these final 9 laps. You can try to give it a go, but I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, it says 106. And that might not even be the 106. It might be a 116 truck, but whoever it is. They're not pulling away from Bodine, but Bodine's not creeping in any closer either. And the left rear tire. And the red on the tire wear indicator. So if the truck wasn't already a little loose, which it is, and not having the dirty air in front of Todd Bodine in the middle of the corner may make that handling maybe even just a slight bit worse. 5 laps to go for Todd Bodine. 3rd and 4th place, trying to get a run after Todd right now. It does seem as if they are slowly closing in on him. But again, 5 laps to go. I don't think Todd is going to hold on without a fight at least. And he's definitely in that position to easily getting aero loose with the left rear tire burnt off as much as it is. Gained 1/10 of a second on the leaders that last lap. But coming up on 3 to go this time, I don't think that's going to matter much. He lost that 10th that last lap. It's the same 2 trucks they got together, I do believe. Hornaday's in 4th. That could allow Bodine to gain 10 more points if Hornaday finishes in the 4th place position. Really hoping that 3rd place truck, whoever that is right now, is able to hold on for that spot. 10th quicker, 2 to go. Bobby Hamilton slowly closing in on Ron Hornaday, and now the left front tire in the red on that tire wear indicator. Again, left sides were not changed during that one and only stop for tires today. Right sides only for Bodine, and it has helped him get up into 2nd place now, getting that extra track position with a pit stop that took anywhere really between 5 to 8 seconds shorter. 2.4 seconds off the lead. The white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Hornaday just made a pass for 3rd. I do believe it's Hornaday. It could be Hamilton up to 3rd. Trying to catch Todd Bodine on the final lap. He's going to be too far back. I don't think he's going to get Todd aero loose at all here. And Todd Bodine will hang on. Hornaday is going to slip into 4th, it looks like, passing the 134 on the final lap. Todd Bodine will hang on for a 2nd place finish. Yeah, that is a huge rebound. I will take 2nd. George Teague will win the race, and he will now be the 9th different winner of the Truck Series season. Had a lot of parity this season, my goodness. 66 laps led for him. He led just over half the race. Again, 130 laps, 200 miles worth of scheduled in total distance tonight. 13 lead changes, 2 cautions, 2.5 seconds margin of victory, 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 15 seconds total time of the race, and 159.6 miles per hour was the average race speed. Teague finishes with the win, started 10th, Todd Bodine started 11th, finished 2nd, led 3 laps. Only during green flag pit stop stayed out a little bit longer to secure the 5 bonus points. Good thing I did, and we still got a 2nd place finish out of it. Hamilton will end up finishing in 3rd. So he gains ground on Hornaday by 5 points, and we pull away from him by 5 more. Ron Hornaday finishes 4th, so we gain 10 points, so we're 55 points back with 4 races to go. Clausen finishes in 5th place, Wilson Eubanks in 6th, Marvin Shett fell back to 7th at the end of the race, Chris Parker 8th, Johnson 9th, and Jackson rounds out the top 10. Quite a few trucks finished on the lead lap, despite that long green flag run to the finish of being over 100 laps. 30 trucks finished on the lead lap. Our teammate Ted Musgrave ended up finishing a lap down in 33rd. 3 DNFs today. Bill Lester led 48 laps in the first half of the race. He blew motor after starting second. That will drop him out of the championship hunt. So we had a four-way battle for the title coming in. Lester was looking quick. He was looking to really gain with a win and a potential max points day. The way the race started, he fell off a little bit and then eventually blew an engine. So now he is out of contention in my book for the championship. Irving ends up finishing 34th. He also blew an engine. Another one of the fantasy drivers, and he came in top 10 in points as well. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll check out the point standings, but I'm pretty sure we're 55 out of first, and Bobby Hamilton is 65 out of first. It is a tight battle with the top 3. 4 races left. Next race at Las Vegas, and that will be a 146 lap event there. Gotta make sure I mute. There we go. I had to mute the TV. Yeah, to get a second place finish off of that, that's huge for us. Huge. I haven't won in a while in the Truck Series season. Feels like it, at least. It's been 5 races since I won. Last one at IRP on that 50% race where we led all 100 laps from the pole. And then we won at Watkins Glen the race before that on strategy, so we went back-to-back. And there was a stretch of 6 races before we won at Atlanta the first time we were there. So I was thinking Hans Good won at Atlanta, but I guess we won the first Atlanta race. And that was not a 50%er. I was thinking it was. Martinsville, Texas, and then IRP Homestead were the 4 50% races. So Atlanta was 100%. We actually led 59 laps and won that one. But we ended up finishing second. Only led 3 laps today. Had a lot of damage, but a great recovery run, to say the least. To at least gain points on Hornaday, we got 87 back, so he lost 102 points. I mean, he's not completely out of it with 4 races to go. Mathematically speaking, he has a chance still, but yeah, it's not looking very likely. He's going to need a DNF out of everybody in the top 3 to get back in contention, so I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean, I did finish 30th and 32nd, 32nd 2 races in a row at Texas and Michigan. Tying my worst finishes of the year in both those races. So 2 32nd place finishes. If I do that again, then sure, yeah, he's back in it, as well as if Hamilton and Hornaday DNF, but that would be about it. Ted Musgrave, where's he at in points? Jeez, he has fallen back a ton. He's 23rd in points out of the 36. And we've actually had more than 36 that have started, because not everybody's not all the fantasy drivers run every race. We've had 44 start a race, so he's probably one of the last drivers in the standings of those that have ran races. Craig Kinzer's ran every race. He's ahead of Aaron Crocker. I'll give him that. Aaron Crocker definitely has ran every race. But I can't say the same for everybody else behind him, honestly. I don't know if they have or not, but I know Aaron Crocker's ran every race. And he's only 13 points behind Craig Kinzer, who also has. I'd imagine Chris Parker's ran every race with him winning one, but I don't know if that's the case for sure. And George Teague, 6th in points after his win today. So good for him. He might have a top 5 points. I can't talk. Top 5 points paying finish. All right, that's going to end tonight's stream. Thanks for everybody tuning in tonight on the channel. We may be back with more NASCAR 07 with the Truck Series tomorrow at Vegas. It's hit or miss depending on what my situation is. Again, trying to settle in, and I'll be moving here at the end of the week. So the streaming schedule, I'll try to get that up as soon as I can for you guys, but it is going to be on kind of a day-to-day basis this week. So just keep an eye out. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I'll see you guys. Thanks, everybody.